So I want to ask you this question because I think this has been this long-going conversation that we've had for a long time. You were actually a champion many years ago for Social Security reform for President Bush.
With Jim DeMint.
And the problem is, if you look back then, we had a Republican House and a Republican Senate. What happened, and what do we do to stop having these conversations when it's our own majorities that are not helping us get it through?
That's a great conversation, and I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Jim DeMint, because Jim and I, we had actually, the first time I recall, and I don't know if they had one since, we actually had structured formal debates on the floor of the United States Senate in 2005, once President Bush called for a reform of the Social Security system. Jim and I were the two Republicans. It was Dick Durbin and Ron Wyden were the two Democrats, and we went out and had a formal debates about how to reform the Social Security system. So you had a great leader, and he's still, obviously, if he's here, Jim's here, you still have a great leader in Washington with Jim DeMint. But you're right, Nikki, the president went out there and said we need to reform Social Security, but didn't really follow up with much of a plan. And Jim and I went out there and we put our ideas out on the table, and it didn't go very far. Here's the problem, Governor. The problem with Social Security is it's simple. It's a simple problem. We have revenues here and we have expenditures going here. And the revenues are all Social Security taxes, and the expenses are all benefits that go to seniors primarily, and some for people with disabilities. And if you have to bring these two lines together. If not, within about 10 years, we're only going to pay about 77 cents on the dollar. That's all the money that'll be coming in to pay. And so we've got to bring these two lines together. Let me ask, there's a good crowd here. It's a good cross-section of America. How many people are for raising Social Security taxes? Raise your hand. Right, okay. How many people are for cutting Social Security benefits? Raise your hand. Okay. Now, this is a pretty conservative crowd. I don't see a whole lot of hands. So here's the problem. Nobody wants to do either of these things to bring them together. That's the problem. And it's a simple problem because you got to do one or the other. And people are going to feel it one way or the other. That's why I always think, I give Jim a lot of credit, and frankly, for me to be able to step out there and put some solutions. Let me just real quickly give you one.
You got time, go ahead.
Okay, one solution. When Social Security was put in place in 1936, what was life expectancy? 61, and they set the eligibility age at 65. Today, life expectancy is 78, and I'm told the actuaries are actually changing the tables because they've done a recalibration. It's going to go up about 2 years, they're telling me. It's going to go up to about 80 life expectancy because they've actually recalculated how long people are living. So, and what's the eligibility age? 66. In fact, when you hit 66, life expectancy for any of you who just turned 66 is another 20 years. Social Security wasn't built for that. And so what do we do? Well, what I've suggested is that we adjust the eligibility age and have it track with life expectancy. So as life expectancy goes up, which normally is about 1 month every 2 years, then the eligibility age will go up. What does that do? That means that every generation of future seniors will have the same time on Social Security as the previous generation. That will solve. Anybody ever? You like that idea? What do you think? I mean, that's one starter. And now the other second thing is, and others have talked about this, is we have a lot of wealthy seniors, and I'm talking about really wealthy seniors who, should not get a full Social Security benefit. That can take a little less in Social Security and help everybody else who's paying the taxes right now. Those would be the two things that I would talk about.